Hello, everybody. I'm Grant Fluff from Flusher Sports Zone, and welcome to our brand new college football series here on YouTube, along with Lennon and Drew. We will be starting our hopefully weekly college football podcast named Campus Gridiron. We are going to be talking about upsets, give our locks of the week, our games of the week, what players to watch, and we'll be recapping some news heading into this week. We'll be recapping some interesting games and storylines from last week. This is going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your college football season with us here on Fluster Sports Zone. Glad to have you guys on the channel. I know Lennon's been on here for a couple of Giants games and NASCAR in the past, and Drew, obviously a great member of our Around the Diamond team. Glad to have him on Fluster Sports Zone, and we're just going to kick things underway. So I know we'll begin with the upsets of the week, and I know Lennon has 3 teams he wants to go over, so we're just going to let him, start things off here with his top 3 upset watches.
All right, let's do this. This is not biased at all. It may seem like that, but it's not. First team on upset watch for me is Florida State at Clemson, and that's only because it's in Death Valley, and Florida State struggled against Boston College last week. Other than the win at LSU, they haven't really proved to me that they're good because they played Southern Miss in week 2. But they're definitely good, and I think they'll win that one. Who's next? All right, Ohio State. Notre Dame is at Notre Dame. Sam Hartman has them rolling. Ohio State's going to win that game, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure. And then Cincinnati and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is on upset watch in that one too. Emory Jones has been actually playing pretty decent, which is surprisingly. I do think Oklahoma will lose that one. There you go. That's my upset.
So I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna start off the debate or conversation, if you want to call it. I don't think Oklahoma is gonna get upset this week because Cincinnati has really fallen off since Desmond Ritter came and went from their program. I just think Oklahoma with Dylan Gabriel and that strong foundation of offense is just going to carry them through that game. Sure, they're going to have some defensive struggles, but they're just going to have a really locked up offense. And I think they're really going to control the new Big 12 addition to that conference and control the game really, really well.
Yeah, I don't really see how Cincinnati would win either. I kind of agree with you. I really haven't noticed them making too much noise since Desmond Ritter got drafted in 2022, and I kind of felt like that was their number one guy since the coaching staff has mostly stayed the same, and it's still a decent program, but to pull up an upset against Oklahoma, I don't see that happening either.
Any given Saturday.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. So I guess I'll let you two go first. What is your upset of the week if we're looking at this batch of games here in week 4?
I mean, Len, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. So upset. Okay. Honestly speaking, I think Florida State is the most likely to, just because Clemson is Clemson. I mean, they got embarrassed by Duke but that was at Duke. This one's in Death Valley. They know who they're playing. Number 4, Florida State, undefeated. Jordan Travis did get hurt against Boston College. He did come back in, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the extent of his. Did he come back in?
He did. Yeah, he came back after
Okay.
He pretty much got healed during halftime, and then he finished out the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been playing amazing though. Dude's just insane. That whole Florida State team is great, and I hate it. Yeah. But if anybody's going to lose, I think Clemson has the best chance, honestly speaking, to upset Florida State. Yeah. So that's my upset of the week there. So
I'm going to chime in on that Clemson thing. I think Clemson's been a very angry and aggressive team since they lost to Duke.
Well, that home, too.
At Duke. And it's
Mhm.
just been a really weird season for Dabo recently, with really no quarterback, because his quarterback's pretty much a liability at Clemson ever since DJ went over to Oregon State. But
He's been doing good
I
at Oregon State.
yeah, no, he's been doing really good. I'm gonna get into that shortly, actually. Foreshadowing. But
For sure.
I think I just don't think Clemson has the offensive capabilities, even though they're being very aggressive right now when it comes to offense. I think what they beat Charleston Southern by like how much? Or, I don't remember how much they beat them by, but it was a lot. But I just don't think they have enough willpower to defeat what is the new, like, surprising mammoth of college football, which is Florida State, even though they almost lost to Boston College last week. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go, Grant. But uh, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, yes, Clemson did beat Charleston Southern 66-17, but that game was really close at halftime, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
So,
was
but
like,
yes, and then they destroyed FAU last week. But that's
gotcha.
FAU, and but yeah, I don't know. I think your Florida State's good. It's going to take a lot, but just like Florida Tennessee last week, the crowd will
Yeah.
play a factor. Clemson needs to strike first and fast and just stop Jordan Travis somehow.
Yeah.
And hopefully
I,
they can do it.
I think that is the number one benefit for Clemson looking at that game is you don't got to play on the road. And usually when you have these top 5 upsets, very rarely do they happen on the road. Usually if that big conference team is going to lose, they're going to lose on the road a very close game like 27-24. And
And Florida,
Clemson, I know they started off the season ranked and they got embarrassed by Duke, and then their defense has really stepped it up since then. That's great. But again, is that going to be enough to beat Florida State? I don't think so.
No.
Florida State is only a 2.5-point favorite on the road.
Oh,
in
that's
that one.
not. That's
Might want
not.
to bet at +3 on the
Yeah.
Florida State if you
I
want
would.
to win some money.
I would vote the over on that. I'm just saying. But is it my turn to do the upset?
I guess it
Go
is.
on. Go for it, Drew.
So I am gonna have a ranked upset this week. It's not really a big upset, but I think it's gonna be an upset. It's Oregon State at Washington State in Pullman.
Ooh.
Coming off a kind of a mediocre win for Oregon State against San Diego State. I think it's just going to be a very controlled environment for the Cougars, coming off a 64-21 win against Northern Colorado and beating Wisconsin last week. I think it's going to be a very controlled game for them. I see an upset happening, especially with DJ. I don't know how to say his last name, but
It's so Hawaiian. I can't hear.
yeah,
You,
DJU, baby. DJU.
you, DJ.
right. Yeah, I think Washington State at home is just a really hard place to play in, especially when they're ranked. I remember a couple years ago they weren't that great, but ever since that coaching staff has put some things together, I think that Washington State's going to lock up Oregon State, especially with that offense kind of mediocre against whoever they played last week. But it's just really been a really controlled environment for them.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'm rooting for Washington State too, because if both Washington and WSU can keep going, that Apple Cup game is going to be one to watch in Week 12.
Yes.
It's going to be really fun. If both Washington teams are ranked inside the top 10, that's going to be a really fun matchup come Week 12.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Grant, who's your upset?
Oh, boy. My upset, I think, is one that is way out there. And honestly, I didn't think that this was a good, really batch of games to determine an upset or not. So I wasn't really sure who to pick for this one. But I'll go with Arkansas just getting by LSU. That sounds crazy on the surface. And again, I don't think it's really likely this happens. But you guys got to remember, last year when LSU and Arkansas played in the freezing cold, it was a one-possession game the entire way through. And with this Arkansas team being more experienced, having last year's game under their belt, maybe they can stop Daniels, who was really good with his feet last week. Maybe they slow them down. Maybe they come away with the win. Doubtful, but if this defense is hungry, they could do good. They were one possession away from beating BYU and being 3-0 right now. Do not sleep on Arkansas.
If they can go into Baton Rouge and beat LSU, who's ranked 12th in the country, they deserve to be in the top 10. I'm going to put that right there.
I don't know about
Raheem
top
Sanders
10.
Your starting running back's still out.
To the point, that's true, and KJ Jefferson is really good too, so that should be a really fun SEC matchup.
I would say that if Arkansas does go into Baton Rouge and beats LSU, I believe they will be in the top 20. I don't know about top 10, but I definitely think top 20.
No, they could be in the top 20, especially since, as I mentioned, they only lost to BYU by 3. They'd have a 3-1 record.
I mean, especially if Bama's still in the top 20 after last week, which we'll get into that later. But after Bama's still in the top 20, anything can happen in college football.
No, Tennessee's ranked 23rd and Florida's 25. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's okay.
But going back to the Arkansas LSU game, Arkansas has an 11.7 chance according to ESPN Analytics to win
LSU's
that game.
favored by 17.5.
Yeah, 17.5 point spread. I actually like that upset prediction. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I like it.
I like it too. I hope it happens. I can't stand LSU.
I like LSU personally, but I know you're a Gator fan.
Dude, and Death Valley's a tough place to play. Let me tell you dude. I was there in 2021 when Florida went there. It's loud, man. Especially if it's a night game too. Oh man, it's gonna be rocking in Baton Rouge
It's a primetime
Saturday.
Game too,
7 o'clock ESPN.
Primetime game, as we mentioned last year when they played, it was the afternoon in the middle of November. Now you play in September at night, much warmer weather. Arkansas though plays down south. Does that play a factor? It might. Arkansas LSU.
SEC West rivalry.
They're pretty close in the map, so not much of a travel.
SEC West matchup. That's going to be really fun to watch. I forgot they were playing this week.
Keep in mind, man, there is no SEC West anymore.
There's next year it's the one conference, but this is this year.
Yeah.
We'll get into Texas and Oklahoma in another episode.
That's true.
But I don't know how I feel. We'll rant on that later.
Yeah.
All right. I guess next up we'll do the lock of the week. I could get rid of mine because it's definitely the least. Oh, I don't know. Florida has a cakewalk of an opponent this week. So actually,
really,
Lennon go on his.
No, dude, this is the biggest opponent this year, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, my lock of the week is Florida over Charlotte. Come on, it's just. I'm from Charlotte too, but no, Florida all the way in that one. It's at home. They're coming off a big win against Tennessee. It's just not gonna happen. Graham Mertz is amazing. Trevor Etienne is amazing. Montel Johnson Jr. is amazing. Florida's going to have a cakewalk. We might even put 50 on them. Come on, that's easy.
I think I'm going to go with an easy one, too. Again, this matchup in the grand scheme of things isn't great. This is 1-2 against 0-3, but I'll say my lock of the week is Illinois defeating Florida Atlantic.
Oh, yeah.
Very weird matchup, but that should happen. Illinois only lost by, I think it was 16 to Penn State. It was ranked 7th. Very impressively on the defensive side of the ball, and they kind of crawled back and finished well in their week 2 game after trailing early. All Illinois really has to do is just sustain that lead, and they are going to be ready to roll. So I'll go with Illinois over Florida Atlantic. Again, I never said it was a great matchup. It's the lock of the week, and I think Illinois to get to 2-2, they got to take care of business against a school that last year is more of a basketball program.
Right. Yeah. Kind of shit. That's such a weird matchup just to pick out of every game this week.
Yeah, you picked Illinois for FAU.
I said it was a bad one.
He did. We have USC at Arizona State not happening, but you choose Illinois at FAU.
Dude, you had Michigan and Rutgers in the big house, and you chose FAU and Illinois. Like, I get it. Hey, it's easy. I get it. I don't think FAU is gonna win, and they just lost their
If
quarterback with an
FAU
ACL.
wins, I
So.
look like a freaking moron for choosing a complete, irrelevant game over something like Michigan playing at home against Rutgers, and then I'm going to look like an idiot.
You have a Big Ten team going into the American Athletic Conference playing a no-name football team. Just what are we doing here?
Making easy predictions. That's what I'm doing.
Anyways,
I have an easy
Good
one
word.
too. I can't complain. But
my lock of the right. My lock of the week is more of a spread out, not location wise, obviously, but more of a point spread out. It's not as bad as you think it is. It's Texas at Baylor. I think Texas is going to go because it's not a far drive at all, or not even a far travel at all. Quinn
Austin to Waco.
Quinn Ewers hasn't thrown a pick all year. I don't think he's going to throw in this week. Baylor, I mean, they only scored 30 points against Long Island. What is Baylor doing this year? Really?
Not to mention they lost to Texas State week 1 at Baylor, by the way. It was bad too. Texas State beat the shit out of Baylor week 1. That was embarrassing. But yeah, Texas will easily take care of the Bears there. I don't know. Baylor can come alive though, so that should be a really fun game too.
It's just over 2 touchdowns, which is really surprising for that game.
Is it at Baylor?
Texas, yeah, it's at Baylor, but
that's
still,
why.
Texas is the number 3 team in the nation. How do you only put 15-point spread on that game?
Because it's in Baylor.
There's my rant on my.
I mean, that is the definition of does it finish like 30-27, or does Texas win in a blowout? I don't think there's any in between. I think Texas wins by 30, or Texas just escapes with like a 3 or 7 point win.
Okay, so my question to you, sir, is Texas actually back?
No, never.
Never.
No,
never.
They went in to Tuscaloosa and whooped Alabama's behind.
Okay.
Texas already beat Alabama. That was their win.
In Tuscaloosa too. That's a hard place to do.
Here's the thing. Guess who almost beat Bama? The USF Bulls, baby.
Yeah, we know.
They almost beat. And let me show you who Byron Brown looked like on Saturday. All right, this man right here, the savior of USF football, Quentin Flowers.
Oh, she's mentioning Bengals legend Quentin Flowers.
Yes.
USF legend too. He turned that
Quentin
program.
Flowers. That is completely correct. He's the that's my spiel.
All right.
I feel like him mentioning Quentin Flowers is going to be like me whenever I mention Blake Bortles for University of Central Florida. Like, that's our boys. So, like, we got to mention it. You know what's so funny is even though the Gators all team, I technically, because of my Bortles jersey, have more UCF gear, which is absolutely I need to get a Gators jersey. I don't know if it's going to be Tebow or Trask yet, but
get a USF jersey.
Gators jersey's coming soon.
Yeah, you need this one. Or get the black one. The black one looks fucking badass.
The black one does look badass. Anyways.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Game of the week now?
Game of the week time.
All right, game of the week time. Who's going first?
So I guess I'll go first. Pretty much one of the biggest games of the weekend. I have Notre Dame at the Shoe against Ohio State.
No, it's at Ohio. It's at Notre Dame.
Is it? Okay. Well, I guess I did my research wrong. Well,
I think. I'll double check.
I thought it
Well,
was in Notre Dame too.
Yeah, it's at Notre
all right.
Dame.
That's at Notre Dame? Okay. Well, I guess I did my research wrong. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
It's okay.
But
Go for it.
I think Notre Dame is going to pull out the win
Oh, I hope
against Ohio
so.
State because I
so.
hate Ohio State University.
Me too.
I think
Amen.
you just spoke for all three of us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
amen. Go Irish. I hate Notre Dame too, though. So, but go Irish, dude.
You
can't
can't
stand
like
the
them.
Buckeyes.
You cannot like them.
No, I fucking hate them. I was only rooting for them against Georgia last year. That's it. Other than that, fuck the Bucks. Sorry.
Going into the stats part of it, Sam Hartman hasn't thrown a pick all year. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards already, and we're on week 3, 4?
Four. This is week 4.
Week 4. Yes, Notre Dame is 4-0, and they've played more games than everyone else in the country, but that doesn't matter when you're going against the Ohio State Buckeyes and their god-awful defense.
That's true.
I mean, they let South Carolina stick around last week. If you go out to that, 14-3 halftime lead for South Carolina, if you do that against Notre Dame, the odds are you aren't coming back.
That was Georgia, not Ohio State, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into Georgia later.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm getting my teams mixed up here. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, with Ohio State's running back only running for 191 yards this year, you have to wonder, what is this offense going to do when they go against a really, really good defense in Notre Dame, where they beat pretty much the living crap out of him. I don't see Ohio State beating Notre Dame this week. I just don't see it.
If I am Ryan Day right now in the locker room in Columbus, I am telling my offense the game plan is simple. Throw the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Case closed. He's your best player and probably the best receiver in college football right now. If you're going to beat Notre Dame, they have to beat them over there. And I don't think they can do that. Notre Dame just looks different this year. And it's in South Bend, Indiana, too. So that's also something to keep
I would
an eye
just
on.
love to see like 3 Notre Dame DBs just on Marvin Harrison Jr. And he
That's
just
all they have to do.
A catch we've never seen before because he's
a god, dude. He's not even real.
But yeah. But anyways, moving on to one of y'all. Whoever wants to take the next game of the week.
All right. I guess I'll go next. So we have the Colorado Buffaloes going to Oregon to face the Duckies. Oh, boy. We got a thrill of a matchup here at 3 o'clock.
Go Dion.
Oh,
Go
man.
Ducks.
So,
go Ducks. Go Ducks.
Colorado ranked at number 19. Oregon ranked number 10. This game will be live on ABC. I'm rooting for the Ducks. Let's see who I am predicting, though. Well, we look at this here. The Ducks have averaged 60 points a game this season. I know they haven't faced anyone impressive, but 60 points and 600 yards a game on average is nothing to scoff at. This defense isn't amazing, but they could definitely keep certain players in check. And I know that, Shedar Sanders, he's played really good this year, 10 touchdowns to 1 pick, well over 1,200 yards. But I think if any game Colorado comes back down to earth, it's this one. Colorado State showed that all you have to do is just take the lead early. Stop the run. This team has to beat you with its arm. That's what Colorado State showed all of college football last week. And I think with Oregon having a much better defense than Colorado State, I don't think that game-winning drive or that game-tying drive that put the game into overtime, I don't think that happens. I think the question is, does Oregon win by how many possessions? I'm going to say Oregon wins by 2 possessions. 38-21. I'll go 3 possessions, 38-21.
Wow.
I don't want to be sleeping on Colorado, but this is by far the best team they have played this year. And obviously on the road, I think this is when the hype comes crashing down once they lose this game. I think they'll still be ranked by the end of this loss, but I think this could be the beginning of the end for Colorado if they do lose this game Saturday.
And what really stings for Colorado and everyone that's affiliated with them is Travis Hunter's out for 3 weeks. So
Yep.
you have 3 weeks.
We're gonna
without
get
one of your
into
best
that
players.
whole
Yeah, we'll get into that.
fiasco.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too much in that because we still have about 40 minutes left of this podcast, but there's a lot to cover on that. And but Len, do you want to do your game of the week?
I'm laughing at Kyle's chat right now.
Goodness.
Oh, yeah, I can. All right, here we go. I never thought I'd say this in my life. 3-0 Ole Miss, 15th ranked in the country, is going into 13th ranked Alabama, who is 2-1. Never thought I'd see they. And honestly, the way they played last week should be 1-2. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Florida State should also have a loss to these guys.
Yeah, BC should be FSU too.
Salty.
Yes. In fact.
All right. Jackson Dart has looked incredible in these first 3 games, but they haven't played anybody. They played Mercer, Tulane, and Georgia Tech, and Tulane was their toughest opponent, and they squeaked out that one. Alabama lost to Texas and struggled against South Florida hard. Alabama played 3 quarterbacks against USF, and they all looked really bad. I don't know why they benched. They did. I don't.
I know. I'm laughing because it's great.
3.
It's a great thing to see.
So Saban benching Milroe, I think, was a very stupid
job. It most definitely was. I would have never done that after one bad game.
He had one bad game against Texas and got benched. He has 449 yards and 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and he's 27 to 45 passing through 3 weeks. That's not that bad. Oh. He got benched, and they struggled against South Florida. They got their stuff together in the second half, but still, Ole Miss has not beat Alabama in 8 years, and in fact, this is the 8-year anniversary of when the Rebels went into Tuscaloosa and beat the Crimson Tide. Jackson Dart needs to be on his A game.
Yeah.
He's their passing leader and their rushing leader. So he's 852 passing, 7 touchdowns to 1 interception through 3 weeks. He has 32 carries for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know if this is Alabama's quarterback.
Let me just say this. It's always. No, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I was going to say. Yeah, Bama's quarterback room. I feel like this is new to everyone. Okay. Like, I think we're so used the Jalen Hurts to a
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Hurts to a who was after that? Mac Jones, Bryce Young. I missed one, I think. Right? No, was it 4?
AJ McCarron. Oh my God.
Oh, fuck him.
I forgot about Mac. I forgot about Mac Jones.
Me too. But anyway, my point is, Bama had years and years and years of really good quarterbacks, and in my opinion, Miro has not proven himself to a Jalen Hurts, to a Mac Jones, to a Bryce Young. Usually Bama coming off a loss, you expect them to blow the team out. They got embarrassed by Texas and Tuscaloosa. They struggled in South Florida. I don't think it's panic time in Tuscaloosa just yet. If the Rebels go in and take care of business, it's time to push the big red button. Give me the Rebels.
With 2 losses, you don't deserve to be ranked.
Oh, no, they won't. And they're out of the playoffs. Give me Lane Kiffin and the Rebels, and Ole Miss will be playing Baby Shark in Tuscaloosa Saturday at 3:30. Rebels upset, first time in 8 years. Miro struggles, I think, again, and then they don't have depth behind them, and their offensive line hasn't been playing that good. So there
you're
you
telling
go.
me I got to choose between this or Oregon Colorado? That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't both these games be on at different time slots? These are two really important games.
Yeah, it's last year of SEC on CBS. Got to get used to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give me the Rebels.
End of an era, boys. End of an era.
Really. And they're there.
Yeah.
Go Rebs.
Yeah.
And speaking of Rebels news, Matt Corral got released by the Patriots today, and
Already?
that's sad.
Wow.
That's sad because I remember watching him in Ole Miss.
He was good.
Great, and then he fell to Carolina, and the Panthers never gave him a chance.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
tried to sign with the Patriots, wasn't with the team, got released.
Let
Really?
me do.
While we were talking about Ole Miss, I just want to give a quick shout out to Matt Corral. You are more than welcome to join the Jaguars. Just with open arms, we will sign you as our backup.
You over Lawrence already?
Nah, we need a backup not named CJ Beathard though. So
Yeah.
that would be great.
I love how this is a college football podcast, and yet we still talk about the NFL because it just happens to find out everything we do.
He's a literally
We're talking about NFL.
Ole Miss
Save it for the.
Sunday. Save it for Sunday.
I mean, yeah. Save it, Grant. Save it.
Save it.
But,
All right, I'm done. That was all I was gonna say. Just said how bad Matt Corral fell off.
Yeah. After that knee injury, he hasn't been the same.
No,
I honestly forgot Mac Jones went to Bama. That's just how irrelevant he's been. That's just.
we got a lot of Patriot subscribers on my channel there, Drew. You better watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of Patriot fans who are subscribed to this channel.
I apologize, but let me just say this. Sorry. Go Bucks. Go Bucks. That's all I'm gonna
Go
say.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, go Baker. Quarterback of the future, baby.
He's been
Oh,
looking
my
good.
goodness.
I'm not gonna lie. All right. Is it news time?
I think it's news time. We got about a half hour here to recap any news / games from last week. So
Let me start. Can I please
all right,
start?
you go, Drew.
So, heading into the college game day highlighted game of Colorado State, there was a huge debacle over Deion Sanders and his glasses to his players
Oh my god.
making comments of him taking off his glasses and hat to talk to adults. And let me just say this. Deion was in the right here. Colorado State head coach does not know what he's talking about. What are we doing here?
It's a respect thing. I get both sides.
I get it.
Both sides, but I, personally, who cares?
But here's the thing. Deion, they had Deion's mom in the locker room.
He brought his mom into the locker
The
room.
team up because of what this coach said.
He also gave
What is
all
happening in college football?
he gave all of his players sunglasses during the team meeting before the game too. It was the funniest shit ever.
Yes, he did.
Wild.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
God.
great.
Way to
Sorry.
stir the pot. Deion knows how to stir the pot.
And honestly, I'm glad Jay Norvell, I think that's Norvell said that because I feel like it made the game better than what it was going to be. Because I really did not think it would be that close, and it ended up being game of the year.
How many fights
possibly?
were there? One.
A lot.
Two.
Yeah, pregame too. Shador Sanders and all them. Travis Hunter was talking shit.
Fight pregame.
They're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Oh yeah. But moving on.
Speaking of Travis Hunter, let's so he's out for 3 weeks. I don't know the extent of his injuries. I don't know.
So he's
Did they
out for
say what
3
it was?
weeks. We know he got, hit in the chest area on a pass that was
Right.
way out of bounds. And I actually had this as our topic discussion.
Yeah.
Should Henry Blackburn, the safety for Colorado State who made the hit, should he receive a suspension by the NCAA?
1,000%.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
This is great
All right.
because
All right.
I can be the difference maker here. This is great. Go
Go
first, Drew.
Go first.
Okay. So if you are a D1 NCAA football player and you worked your ass off your entire career to get to the stage and you're playing against primetime Deion Sanders, and you have the balls, the tiny shrinked up little balls, to go up and hit one of the best players in the entire United States. What are you doing? Like, you knew the ball was going out of bounds, and you hit him anyways, and you decided to talk shit to Shedeur Sanders. You're making this worse for yourself, buddy. And I know I'm not the one to talk because I'm a USF fan and we fucking suck. But
you ain't wrong.
You need to be more selfless when it comes to being smart with your play. I mean,
yeah.
If you want to win a game against a team like Colorado who's on the rise, you need to be smarter. And if that goes to making smart plays and like not making penalties, then Jay Norvell and the Colorado State head coach needs to suspend him, or NCAA needs to suspend him for even thinking of hurting Travis Hunter. You just can't do that on that setting or at all in the game of football.
All right, let's see why Lennon says he shouldn't be.
I say no because his intent obviously was to hit him. I don't think he meant to hurt him. And besides the hit being late and out of bounds, it was a clean football hit. He hit him in the chest.
You say that,
it was not targeting.
Before you say it's a clean football, and this is where I'll interject. You say before a clean football hit, the ball was already out of bounds.
Yes, it was dirty.
Exactly.
It was, but it does not warrant a suspension. Like,
I think it does.
Do I need to pull up the replay here? He full on struck him out of bounds.
He hit him in the chest.
Exactly.
And he didn't launch with his helmet.
Injury.
He didn't lead with his head.
He's fired up now. Targeting. I like it.
I don't even think the dude who hit Graham Mertz at the Tennessee player should be ejected or suspended or whatever it was.
Well, that was just a stupid mistake.
That was a different mistake.
I know, but my point is he hit the quarterback when he was going down for a knee. I feel like that's worse than hitting a receiver out of bounds, even though it was definitely a flag. It wasn't targeting. It was definitely late out of bounds, and I'm sorry he didn't mean to, but he shouldn't receive death threats over it.
Yes,
well,
that's ridiculous.
People who are going into the death threats area, they're just morons who are just
he's a kid
morons on the internet.
I mean, I'm sure he'll get set
death threats over anything. What I'm saying though is, and I 100% agree with Drew here. He probably knew realistically what he was doing. Oh, this is Travis Hunter, not only a great receiver but a great corner.
Let me just show you
right now, and thank you, Drew, for pulling up the clip. I wanted to do this as well. The throw right there, way out of bounds. This is 2 seconds. He started gingerly walking 2 seconds after the ball was well out of bounds, and then the hit occurs. I think in the NFL, you get fined a lot of money, maybe not suspended, but I think in college, to send that message, I think you should suspend him. It doesn't have to be lengthy. It could only be a game or two, or you find him and Colorado State a lot of money. Pick your poison. I gotta say that
there we go.
I gotta say that this is warranted of at least 1 or 2 games. Right there, ball hit the ground before contact was made. The ball hit the ground before contact was made. That play should have been over.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to 2009 BCS National Championship game for a second.
You hold on. You cannot compare Major Wright's hit to this piece of shit. You cannot do that.
Major Wright was a badass. This guy is
the only difference in that is that Manny Johnson had the ball in his hands. That's the only difference.
And that warrants a hit.
No.
He wanted to kill that man. He hit him hard. It's the same thing. The only difference is the football.
It's not because the ball is not in the receiver's hands. So therefore, it's not.
The ball's on the ground.
Okay, if Hunter had the ball in his hands, would you guys not be upset about that hit?
I would not at all because he's making a football move.
Well, let's see.
I would not because he's making a football clean tackle.
Ball on the ground.
Boom! The ground
right there. It's on the ground.
Hey man, I don't know. We can agree to disagree on that. I mean, it was definitely dirty.
I
I'll
don't
give you
know. I'm
that.
glad we had that discussion. 2-1 favor.
All right.
Yeah, a
I tried.
suspension or a fine should be warranted. But
Okay.
we are off to hopefully way less controversial topics.
That was fun. Let's do that more often.
What
That
though?
was
We got
good.
Drew all pumped up now.
Dude, this is what I'm passionate about, dude. I've loved college football since the day I was born.
Me too,
I was
bro. Me
born in the
too.
South. I live in the
Amen.
South. We live, breathe, and eat college football. Let's do this.
Hell yeah, he right too.
Anyways,
All right.
moving on.
All right, Lennon, I know you got a plethora of topics. Let's try to go through some of those real quick.
All of them revolve around Alabama and Ole Miss, but that's okay. My main question, though, is it panic time in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Should fans be worried that Saban's on the decline, that they don't have a good quarterback, their O-line's falling apart? I don't think it's time yet, but if Ole Miss goes into Tuscaloosa and beats them, I think it's time to push. The Bama's 2-2 and not inside the top 25. Something's wrong.
Yeah, I was just about to say this week's going to mean a lot playing another top.
And that's
opponent.
That also Bama knows people are talking about him. People talk bad about Nick Saban. He somehow manages to do something. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm picking the Rebels, but I would not be surprised if Alabama puts the thumping on the Rebels like they do every year.
I mean, this is one of those situations where, again, I think either Ole Miss wins by 3 or Alabama wins by 30. I don't think there's no in between. It's either Alabama's going to show they're legit and they're going to move right back up to like hopefully 11 or 10, or Ole Miss, this is their upset game. Alabama at the top 25, and then we talk about the Rebels potentially being in the top 10.
For the Rebels in the top 10, I never thought I'd see that.
That's just not happening. But when it comes to like other teams like coming into the mix, I don't think it's panic time yet in Tuscaloosa when it comes to Alabama, because you have Jalen Milroe coming back this week after a brutal week last week with quarterbacks, which we're going to get into that with my next topic. But it's just, I don't think that it's panic time yet, but this week is probably the most important week in all of Alabama football history when it comes to like rankings and how, like being a dynasty. Because if you lose here, dynasty's over. It's done. Pretty much. It's over.
Yep.
Yeah. So this week means so much to this program that if they do somehow lose to Ole Miss, then it's over. That's just how it is.
All right, and back to you. You say Milroe's going to come back and start. That's great. Does him being benched last week have any impact on his play this week? And that's for both of you.
No. Yes,
like the mental side of things. Like you just got benched.
The mental side of things, probably. Do I think he's going to go out there and throw for like at least 250 anyway, win or loss? Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
I don't think it really affected him, because if you went on Twitter on Saturday night, you would look at the thing, and there's Jalen Milroe pumping up his quarterback after they scored a touchdown. I mean, if you're in that state of mind while being benched, I think you're fine. Because if you're just hyping your teammates up and you're down in the dumps because of that stuff, you're not okay. But if you're doing that type of stuff, you're good. Like, you're okay.
No, for sure. It's gonna be really interesting week here.
All right. I guess we could move on to the next topic that I'm sure me and Lennon are ready to get ready for. Trevor Etienne named the Doak Walker National Running Back of the Week. This is a man who scored a 62-yard rushing touchdown against Tennessee in the second quarter, which really blew the game open for the Gators defense to just build momentum off of and ultimately win that game. So what do we think is the future here for Trevor Etienne? Remember, he's only a sophomore. He had a strong campaign last year. The Gators running back core should be 100% by the time they play Kentucky in 2 weeks. This is something really interesting to look at.
You gonna let the Gator
most
fan go
definitely.
first?
Now let the Gator fan go first.
Oh, I love that kid so much. Oh my god, he's only 19 years old. He's a sophomore. Dude, it's just he's not. He's gonna be better than his brother. I'm telling you that right now. I can tell. And I loved Travis at Clemson. He was amazing. Maybe not in the NFL, but I'm telling you, in college wise, he will be better than his brother. Except he probably won't get a national championship. That's the only difference there.
Ooh, and down goes the take because Florida will never win another national championship so long
They
as
will.
that coaching staff and those players are on the field. Because let's face it, Florida's not good enough to make the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. There it is.
You got room to talk there, buddy. But
I never said USF's good. We
you
suck.
didn't. It's true. You're right.
You're right. A little
I love them,
chirpy
but
going
we
on.
suck.
All right, but back to ETN for a second. Florida, as a team, had 183 rushing yards on the ground between the two running backs. Trevor Etienne had 172 of those.
That's
He did-
unreal.
He's an amazing runner. He's just so good. Moncho Johnson is good. He's great too. Like both Florida's running back core is not the problem. It's even quarterback's not. Graham Mertz has played really, really good. Despite the Utah loss, he still threw for over 70% against Utah. He killed McNeese State and he beat the shit out of Tennessee. Hasn't thrown a pick since the Utah game. That really wasn't his fault. It bounced off Pearson. All that we can get better. Etienne's amazing. Florida's running back room is amazing. Definitely top 3 in the nation for sure. You can argue that. I don't think you can argue that.
Yeah.
I think it's the best, but I'm biased. But it's definitely top 3 for sure.
Well, moving on. My boys over in Tampa, where I live, are celebrating this week because we almost beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, and that's we all know
You should
what happened and
celebrate
all that.
too.
But I'm gonna shout out one of our defensive players, Daquan Evans. Yeah, Daquan Evans had a monster day on the defensive side of the ball, having 8 tackles, 4 TFLs, and 3 sacks against a huge SEC team. But I mean, that's a great day. Like that's an amazing day.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is an American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week and the Bednarik Defensive Player of the Week. That's just 2 honors, and they're keep rolling in. So I'm really proud of that guy, and good for him.
And that's another thing I wanted to touch on about Alabama is no offense to you, of course, but they let an AAC defense penetrate their top 5 SEC offensive line, and that should not happen. I don't care who you play. That's ridiculous. But I'm very proud of UCF and the stuff they did because I was rooting for you with that one.
Hey, whoa! Did anyone hear this man say? This man said UCF. Boo! Boo this man! Boo!
What I do?
Hey, don't make me pull up the 2020 Florida roster, all right, and schedule. I will do it. It's brutal.
I missed them. No, but I don't. Yeah, if Bama O-line plays like they did against South Florida, against Ole Miss, it is not. They're done.
I guess we can move on now to another game recap. I might as well just recap Florida State versus Boston College real quick. So the Seminoles go to 3-0. BC drops to 1-2. Could have went on that 2-game winning streak and would have been probably the upset of the season so far. Besides South Florida upsetting Alabama. But anyways, Thomas Castellanos. I want to talk about this guy real quick. This is a quarterback who I didn't think was expected to see much playing time. This was Emory Moorhead's team. He replaced Phil Jerkovic. Last year when he got injured, he led an upset against North Carolina State. He looked really impressive last year. He gets injured. In comes Castellanos, who just lights a spark with this Eagles offense. 305 passing yards on top of 95 rushing with 2 combined touchdowns, getting the sophomore Lewis Bond in the game, 3 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown, which was a beautiful spiral by Castellanos. to give BC the lead early. He's been impressive. And, obviously BC's not going to be ranked this year or maybe even next year. But to save
Or
Todd
never.
job,
Sorry.
or ever, we haven't been ranked. Ryan was around. But let me tell you this. To keep Todd Haley's job.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes. What would your question be?
How long ago was that?
2007, give or take.
How long ago did Matt Ryan play?
It's like 13 years ago.
15 years. Cool.
13 years ago. It was back in
15.
07.
15.
It's terrible. It's been rough over here. But with that being said, to keep Haley around here as the head coach, BC's got to finish above 500. Last year was abysmal, only winning 3 games. I went to the Syracuse game late November, and the entire team just looked dead at that point. The only player worth really watching was Zay Flowers. Obviously, he's now with the Ravens. So now you have young kids like Bond and Joseph Griffin who can really step up in that receiving role. And both men looked impressive on last Saturday. Both sophomores. BC has a young receiving core now with that new kind of dual threat QB. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. I don't think it will go great. I still think BC will probably win 5 games at most, but anything's possible because, again, they got a quarterback now that is not afraid to make plays happen outside the pocket, something they weren't used to at all when Phil Jerkovic and Emery Moorhead were the QBs here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a very eventful week. But moving on, I also have a bone to pick with one of the teams in Division I. The North Carolina Tar Heels are very disappointing to me. They just
Really?
hear me out.
I mean, I know we struggled against App State, but everybody struggles against Appalachian State.
Not everyone struggles against App State. That just doesn't happen. All right.
History says otherwise.
Remind you, App State is.
Go ahead.
App State is currently. It's not that good. It doesn't happen.
Well, you say that's not that great, and then they took care of business at home against a very tough Minnesota team last week. My friend was pretty high on Minnesota pulling off the upset. They did not. Pretty convincing 31.
Yeah, they also beat the shit out of South
for the
Carolina
Tar-
too, week 1, by the way.
They did also take
And
care of
South
business
Carolina-
against South Carolina.
South Carolina
week
played
1.
good against, almost beat Georgia. North Carolina beat South Carolina. I'm just saying. And beat them pretty badly, too.
And they also choked away their bowl game against Oregon last year, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that was so bad. Oh, what they fucking goal.
Hey,
I was so pissed off.
Do you want me to remind you what happened in the Gators bowl game? Okay,
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, just get that.
Those were Mullins players, by the
you
way.
did?
I don't
Alright,
want to
let me-
talk about it. They were. I
Oh,
know what happened.
don't?
It was like
Oh, okay.
38-3.
Oregon
But, like-
State absolutely bopped Florida. We don't talk about that here.
Nah, no.
Speaking,
Kick him out.
Speaking
Kick
of
him
Oregon
out.
State, they were also on my list for upsets this week, along with North Carolina, Tennessee, and North Carolina. North Carolina was on my upset watch.
Wait,
Drake May has looked lost after that App State game, and their defense looks lackluster. There you go.
time
No, I'm
out.
just looking at the rest of Oregon State's schedule, though. They have Utah next week. They have UCLA down the road in October, and they play Washington and Oregon to end out the year in November. That's a tough schedule. And they have Colorado right in the middle.
the Pac-12 is tough this year, dude. Colorado being back and Washington State's good. Washington's good. Oregon's good. Utah's good. UCLA, USC. It's going to be Pac-12 is really interesting. Time out. Did you just say Tennessee's on upset watch against UTSA? Did I hear that correctly?
You did.
You said that,
and I'm going to say that
UTSA is going to cover the spread against. Go ahead.
Not even cover the spread. I'm calling that UTSA will beat Tennessee by at least 8.
What?
Did you just say UTSA is going to go into Neyland Stadium? Okay.
By more than 8 points.
UTSA is going to go into Neyland, beat Tennessee by 8 points.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at Tennessee's schedule. I don't even think they have another tough game until they play Texas A&M 3 weeks from now.
And then,
And then they have Alabama the following week. I think those are the 2 games we're talking about.
Let me just say this. Coming off a loss at Florida, Joe Milton looks lost and not confident. He looks just there. He's boring. He's sure he can throw a ball 90 yards. Where is that in the game?
No,
I don't see it.
No, he can throw an orange 90 yards.
Oh, right. Okay.
He also doesn't lose in Florida, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, what happened? Anyway,
sorry.
And he gave a lot of points to a mediocre Florida team, especially with their defense. Mediocre.
Yeah, we beat the hell out of them. I'm just saying. The scoreboard's closer. Florida dominated that football game, offensively and defensively.
Anyways,
but go ahead.
UTSA will beat Tennessee by 8. Moving on.
I want to make a bet so bad, but I'm not going to bet against because it can happen. It's college football. It can happen.
Let's make a bet to end the episode on Campus Gridiron.
All right,
episode 1.
All right, you two go for it. How are we ending this episode? What wager? I'm out of this.
I got this. I got it.
Go for it.
If UTSA wins against Tennessee, you have to go out and buy a Florida State jersey and wear it on episode 2. Or at least a shirt. A shirt.
Do you want me to not be able to go back home and see my family? Dude, no, I will be disowned if my mom and grandpa see me in a fucking Florida State t-shirt. I won't be able to go back home, and my money doesn't work in Tallahassee.
Boo. Anyways,
no, I do want to do something though, because there's no way UTSA beats Tennessee.
There's no way UTSA beats Tennessee. Tennessee looked weak against
Florida. The American Athletic Conference runs college football, baby. Let's go. I'm kidding. That's just
I was gonna say. Okay.
That's just.
Oh boy.
I do. We'll think of something.
That's the worst take I've ever had.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll think. We'll talk after
by saying this. The Big 12 is the worst conference I think I've ever seen in the history of football.
He's saying that because UCF's in there. If UCF wasn't in there, he wouldn't be saying that.
Hold on. Not even that. What? How do you let Rice, Houston, hold on. Houston, how do you let Rice beat you by that much?
Wait, Rice beat Houston?
Give up that much. Yes, Rice beat Houston.
When?
And they put up.
Where the hell was I? Wait, no, seriously. What time was that last week?
That was the week before.
When the hell did Rice beat Houston?
Rice beat Houston 43-41 on September 9th in overtime. Wow.
Yeah, but during the game, Rice was up like really big. I don't remember how much, but they were up big. Yeah, they were up at one point. They were up 21. Then they were up 28-7. And then Rice was up.
Oh, shit. Where the hell was I?
I wasn't aware of it either. The fact that
Me
Rice
either.
won a
That's-
game this year is astonishing me right now.
When they battled
But-
with Texas for a little bit, week 1, but
They
Good for
did,
them.
but yeah. Anyways, Big 12, not good. There you go.
yeah.
But
true.
yeah, there you go. There's all my takes. So
We're gonna talk after this, dude, because we got to get that
yes, we
Tennessee
are.
thing
And
juicy going.
I'm going to win the bet because the Roadrunners will beat the Volunteers in Neyland.
Dude, I almost want to lose this bet just because I hate Tennessee that much. But there's no way. There's absolute. I mean, any given Saturday, I say that every week, but there is no.
What if Tennessee loses, but it's less by 8?
Ooh.
Ooh. Then no one wins.
Then
No.
one wins,
Okay.
draw?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Then no
that
one wins.
works.
Then no one wins.
Okay. See, he's scared. He doesn't want because he knows. Okay.
No, because if UTSA hits a game-winning field goal with like 5 minutes remaining, and they can't, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds remaining, that didn't work. That just didn't work. They won anyways, so why does it matter?
Well, my point. Do you not want to care about the points and just
Okay,
flat
we'll
out
talk about
say? Okay, we'll
We'll
let
talk
you
about
guys know
this
next
later.
week when
Okay.
Tennessee beats the living hell out of UTSA.
Well put, London. Well put.
I,
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, we
Yep.
hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of Campus Gridiron. Oh my God, we had some steaming hot takes today.
Yes,
that was-
yes,
that
we
was
did.
really-
It was really fun to film this after both US. All of our 3 teams played our best games of the season last week.
oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Let's
yeah,
just put it
sure.
bluntly. What a way for us to start off this podcast, kind of recapping all our teams here. As we mentioned, Trevor Etienne went off, and we had a lot of ranked matchups this week. Alabama versus Ole Miss and Colorado versus Oregon. Both are on at the same time, 3:30. So if you can watch both games, please do, because I think we have 2 potential classics in the making there. We're going to get to talk about Alabama. Maybe Ole Miss is legit. We're going to get to talk about that next week. Look into more in depth of Florida and Kentucky. I know London's looking forward to that. We'll get to see maybe is Clemson back on the rise if they can upset Florida State. A lot of questions will be answered this weekend, and enjoy your college football Saturday, everybody, from Grant Flood and Lennon and Drew. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we will see you next week with episode 2.
Yep, thank you guys for watching. See ya.